Number 5 is Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Mithra's story is that of trauma, sadness, and a troubled past, but she's truly a character that overcomes all of this depression and moves forward as a powerful, changed, and independent person. Mithra hides her past trauma with her other persona, Pyra, who is everything she isn't: serene, polite, soft, sweet, and comforting. Once Mithra emerges for the first time, awakened by Rex's fiery passion to fight his enemies in front of him, we see to much of our and Rex's surprise that she's the polar opposite: brash, confrontational, sassy, and fighting without holding anything back. Her, ironically, more fiery disposition compared to Pyra's is interesting, but I love how over the course of the story, Mithra learns to accept who she is, and Rex as her driver. Near the latter half of the game, her relationship with Rex grows exponentially as a result of their trust and synergy on and off the battlefield. Torna the Golden Country's ending is, in my opinion, one of the saddest I've experienced in a game. You see Mithra's desperation while she's piloting her artifice siren. You also see her devastated reaction to the death of Milton and the destruction of the Tornan Titan, leading her to create her persona of Pyra. I love Torna specifically because you get to see Mithra evolve from a bold and somewhat arrogant Aegis to someone who's confused, hurt, and traumatized by her past. But with the help of Rex, Nia, Tora, Morag, and Zeke, she moves forward to create a better world for Rex and the people of Alrest. Number 4, Zeke from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Zeke is the comic relief of Xenoblade 2. He and his blade Pandoria are somewhat of a Team Rocket kind of trope in this game, as they keep popping up throughout the story as roadblocks to our team, trying to take the Aegis for themselves, but failing miserably in the process. Where Zeke truly shines is when he joins the party and becomes somewhat of a mentor and father figure to Rex, always pushing him to do better and achieve what he knows he is capable of. I personally love how Zeke balances his comedic and serious energy. We later find out that he's actually the Prince of Tantal, and with that comes great responsibility, such as sitting in on political meetings and negotiations, talking his way out of trouble when it comes to his royal heritage and the fate of the world, and providing genuine advice to Rex when he needs it. I also love Zeke's relationship with Pandoria. Being a Blade Eater after part of Pandoria's core crystal is implanted into his chest, he feels that much closer to her as her driver, and you really see this in their flashback scenes, as well as their present-day interactions. Number 3, Nia from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Nia is another character shrouded in mystery and also bears the weight of past trauma, but we don't know a lot about this till much later in the game. Nia is at first introduced as the reluctant kind of skeptic to rival Rex's optimistic goal of seeking Elysium. Nia's hesitation to join Rex was interesting to me. What is she hiding, and more importantly, why was Nia part of Torna in the past, this terrorist organization run by Jin and Malos? Despite all of these questions, I really enjoyed Nia's inclusion in the team. Her cordial yet rivalry-like relationship with Rex is very nice to see develop, and the way she makes fun of Zeke's silliness is also hilarious. My admiration for Nia's character relates to things that happen much farther on into the game. In Chapter 7, when you visit the Spirit Crucible Elpis, all the blades on your team are noticeably weaker due to the lack of ether flowing in the cave. Nia surprisingly also shows this weakness, and you kind of start to wonder why. Throughout the trek to reach the third Aegis sword, Nia reveals her dark past to Rex, her sick sister who slowly and unfortunately met her early demise, and her wealthy father who slowly lost his status and money to find a cure. The vague way in which these events are told to you make you think there's something much more to this, and then it is finally revealed. Nia is a blade, but not just a blade, but a flesh eater. And you can kind of put two and two together. Nia was a healing blade this whole time, and to essentially save her sister, she takes part of her life force into her, and she's a part of her for the rest of her life. Throughout her entire life, Nia has been ashamed and afraid of who she truly is, but with the trust of Rex and her other friends, she's no longer afraid of hiding who she really is as a person. With this new power, she's able to confidently confront Malos and Jin, and put a stop to their evil ways. Nia's relationship with Rex is another standout. I don't really want to go too in-depth into this, but long story short, that one quote that is heavily memed, I really don't think it's that silly. I think it's pretty nice and genuine, actually. And the nicest thing is Nia's reaction to it. She still truly feels loved by Rex, and even though it's not in the form that she hoped, she accepts him as a true lifelong friend. Even in the end, Nia understands how Rex feels for Pyra. You can tell in her subtle body language and actions in the end. All in all, Nia is a very mature and developed character who makes a significant change from the beginning to the end of the story. Number 2, Egil from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I'm gonna come right out and say it. Egil is my favorite Xenoblade Chronicles villain, and one of my favorite video game villains of all time. Egil is the true foil to the protagonist Shulk, vengeful, defeated, and seeking change and answers. These are all things both characters have in common, but in Egil you see a misguided machina, once a forward-thinking and genuine family member and friend. Egil turns into the tyrannical, self-proclaimed leader of Mechonis. When you first meet Egil, you immediately see him as the main antagonist and true enemy of the game. Once you speak to him more and more and confront him many more times, you see his motives. When Zanza planned the attack on Mechonis, he possessed the soul of Egil's best friend, the giant Arglis, who led the fight between Bionis and Mechonis, which led to the deaths of many Machina who lived in Egil's hometown capital of Agniratha. Following the carnage, Egil swore revenge by killing all the Homs who served as life force to Zanza and the Bionis. Blinded by rage and hatred, Egil unleashes the Mechon onto Bionis to cause destruction and havoc. What is great though is Shulk, as his foil, eventually makes him see his evil ways and how the two of them are not so different from one another. Though it may have been a little too late, Egil does die a hero by helping the heroes stand a chance against Zanza, the main villain of the story in the end. And this might sound a little weird, but Egil kind of reminds me of Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars. Starting off as a prestigious Jedi, but falling to the dark side to save the one he truly loves, only to see the light at the end of the tunnel with the help of a positive influence. Sounds like Egil, right? A forward-thinking and progressive son, brother, and friend, who soon loses everything and is driven to revenge to build Mechonis in his ideal image, only to be saved by the positive outlook of the story's true hero. Some tropes can be reused and reworked to make for amazing villain arcs. I truly think so. And I think the best villains are the ones who are the heroes of their own stories. And to me, I don't think Egil is truly evil. He's just very misguided, something his sister Vinaya tries to make him see. All in all, he's my favorite villain in the Xenoblade series. Number 1, Melia Antiqua from Xenoblade Chronicles. When Melia is first introduced to the game in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I was taken aback by how different she was from everyone else. So eloquent, prim and proper, and more serious and put together than the rest of the party. As Charla says, she's quite high and mighty. Melia had never previously been in direct contact with Homs that much, since she would spend most of her time in the Imperial High Entia capital of Alchemoth. But Shulk and his friends spark a change in the High Entia princess. Melia is one of the most developed characters in the game, and that's truly because of her struggle to achieve her status as the next heir to the High Entia throne. Her stories in the base game and Future Connected truly show her to be a compassionate and empathetic, yet tenacious, strong, and independent ruler for her people. Her evolution from a shy, meek, broken girl to someone who has overcome downfalls and unfortunate circumstances to become a truly worthy, charismatic, and inspirational ruler and leader for her people is something very inspiring and great to see. Melia loses a lot throughout the game and overcomes some tough situations. She survives an assassination attempt from the Bionite Order, loses her father to Metalface despite even Shulk's attempts to change the future, and then loses her brother and the rest of her pure blood High Entia companions and people to the power of Zanza, who turns them into Telethia. Even after losing so much, Melia is resilient and determined to fight for her people and see a better future for the High Entia. I actually really enjoyed Future Connected, especially since Melia was the protagonist of the story. You see her rally her comrades, mend old wounds with old foes, and become the queen she is meant to be. So, what did you guys think about that? After part 1 and part 2, do you guys agree with my picks of my top 10 favorite Xenoblade Chronicles characters? If not, or if so, I'd like to hear your opinions and your takes down below. If you guys have played the series, if you guys have played at least to the ends of Xenoblade 1 and 2, I'd like to know who some of your favorite characters are from each game. And yeah, I know we're all gonna have differing opinions, so please try to be polite and respectful of everyone down there in the comments. And I hope this video, for those who have watched the non-spoiler bits of this video, I hope they have made you a little more interested on who these characters are as characters within the worlds of these games, and just made you a little more interested in playing these games. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and follow me on social media, links down in the description below. And stay tuned for more Xenoblade related videos this month and beyond in preparation for Xenoblade 3. This is Nishquick signing off. Have a great day.